Welcome to the Mesonet Weather Report. I'm Wes Lee. Managing cattle in the wintertime can be difficult due to cold weather, limited forage supplies, and supplemental feeding requirements. A tool called the Mesonet Cattle Comfort Index was developed to help livestock producers better manage animals in extreme hot and cold environments. This map from Tuesday shows that on that day, the index was either in the comfortable or slight cold caution range. This index utilizes temperature, wind speed, humidity, and sunlight to come up with a number that symbolizes how cattle might react due to the weather. A feature of the tool allows producers to look at a graph of the past 45 days or the past 10 days along with the 2-day forecast feature. Available tables show that in winter, temperatures are adjusted higher due to high humidity and winds, but lowered with strong sunlight. Cattle exposed to a colder index will require some extra attention to help them cope with the added stress. A rule of thumb for feeding cows in cold weather is to increase feed by 1% each degree the Cattle Comfort Index is below 32 with a dry hair coat. Limit increases to no more than 25% to avoid digestion issues. For extremely cold temperatures or wet conditions, it may require an increased feed level before or after it occurs. Now here's Gary, focusing on the most current drought data.
Thanks, Wes, and good morning, everyone. Well, last week's snowfall did give us just a little bit of improvement on the latest U.S. Drought Monitor map. I hope the rain we received earlier this week is going to give us a few improvements as well, but of course it has to fall in the right place. That being said, let's take a look at the newest Drought Monitor map and see where we're at. Well, we still have the same basic pattern, not a lot of big changes. We did erase a little bit of that moderate to severe drought up in north central Oklahoma, just a tiny bit of it, where that's heavier snow fell in just the right spot. Unfortunately, though, we still have those long-term drought conditions in north central Oklahoma with the extreme drought, also down in far southwestern Oklahoma, and a little bit down into south central, southeastern Oklahoma. So these are the areas we most need to target. Now let's take a look at why we're having those long-term drought conditions. If you look at the map for 2023 thus far, at least through most of November, we do see, over in southeastern Oklahoma, we have a good 45 to 60 inches in the extreme parts of that area of the state. Over in southwest Oklahoma, however, less than 20 inches in places, also out in the panhandle. But the northwestern half of the state, down into southwest Oklahoma, in dire need of rainfall. And that also shows up on the departure from normal map for that same time frame. Deficits up in north central and northeast Oklahoma, greater than 10 inches in some cases as much as a foot. Down in southwest Oklahoma, we see greater than 6 inches and also greater than 6 inches down in south central Oklahoma. So again, these are the areas that need the most help, at least right now, for drought conditions. Well, let's take a little bit of a look ahead as we get farther into December, into that first and second week. Unfortunately, we do see continued increased odds for above normal temperature, so that won't help the drought situation if we do get a little bit more evaporation with that heat. Then we look at the rainfall. When we look at this December 7th through 13th time frame, we don't see any wet conditions in the state, but we also don't see a lot of abnormally dry conditions popping up on this outlook. So I guess that's the best news. Okay, it's a dry time of the year anyway, so any precipitation we can get goes a long way towards relieving drought, or at least stopping it in its tracks. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.